Sarah looked like any normal passenger sleeping in row 12. Nobody knew she was actually an experienced airline pilot. When the captain suddenly collapsed and couldn't fly the plane, the crew desperately asked if any pilots were on board. Sarah had to choose, stay hidden or save everyone's lives. Sarah Martinez looked like any ordinary passenger as she boarded Flight 447 from Denver to Miami. She wore simple blue jeans and a soft gray sweater, carrying only a small carry-on bag and a well-worn paperback novel tucked under her arm. At 35 years old, her unremarkable appearance helped her blend seamlessly with the crowd of travelers. Her hair was tied back casually, and she moved with quiet confidence that drew no special attention. No one could have guessed that she was a seasoned commercial airline pilot with more than 15 years of flying experience under her belt, including thousands of hours on jets just like this one. As she walked down the narrow aisle toward her seat in row 12, other passengers barely glanced her way. The flight attendants offered polite smiles while assisting people with overhead bins. A focused businessman in row 10 tapped away steadily on his laptop, his brow furrowed in concentration. A young mother in row 8 gently rocked her fussy baby, whispering soothing words. An elderly couple in row 14 chatted excitedly about their upcoming vacation, their hands intertwined. To everyone around her, Sarah seemed like just another tired traveler heading home or escaping for a short getaway. She settled into the middle seat 12C, adjusting the armrests carefully before pulling out her book. Sarah had deliberately chosen not to wear anything that might hint at her profession. No uniform pieces, no branded bags, no magazines about aviation. This was her rare day off after weeks of demanding international routes, and she craved nothing more than peaceful rest on this 4-hour journey to visit her sister in Miami. The break felt long overdue, a chance to recharge away from the responsibilities of the cockpit. Flight attendant Jennifer passed by during the safety demonstration, noticing how Sarah had already fastened her seatbelt snugly and sat reading quietly. Jennifer, with her 8 years of service, had a keen eye for passengers. She figured Sarah was likely a teacher, an office professional, or perhaps a mother traveling solo. Nothing in her demeanor suggested any special expertise in aviation or emergency procedures. She simply looked like someone eager for a calm flight and some well-earned sleep. As the plane taxied slowly toward the runway, Sarah closed her novel, slipped on her eye mask, and leaned back. She had flown this exact route many times before from the captain's seat, but today she embraced the role of passenger completely. The subtle vibrations and familiar engine sounds soothed her, though fellow travelers had no clue she could interpret every mechanical nuance around them. She adjusted her seat slightly and drifted off, the cabin noise fading into the background. Up in the cockpit, Captain Robert Hayes, a respected veteran with 25 years of experience, worked alongside his co-pilot, Mark Stevens. They had completed all pre-flight checks meticulously and received clearance for takeoff. The weather forecast promised clear skies all the way to Miami, making it a standard, uneventful flight for the 187 souls on board. Neither pilot suspected that a fully qualified colleague sat quietly among the passengers in economy class. The takeoff rolled smoothly, and soon Flight 447 climbed steadily to its cruising altitude of 37,000 feet. Sarah slept deeply in row 12, her head nestled against the provided pillow. The college student beside her, David, bobbed his head to music through his headphones. The businessman continued his work. The cabin hummed with normal activity, soft conversations, pages turning, and occasional laughter. About an hour in, Jennifer started the beverage service, wheeling her cart past Sarah's row. She noted the peaceful sleeper and smiled to herself, thinking how nice it was when passengers rested so easily. Everything felt perfectly routine. 2 hours into the flight, trouble struck the cockpit without warning. Captain Hayes suddenly felt a wave of dizziness and nausea wash over him. He had felt mildly off since the airport but dismissed it. Now the symptoms intensified rapidly. His vision blurred as he gripped the controls tighter. "Mark, I don't feel good," he said, voice strained. "I think I need a moment." Co-pilot Stevens glanced over with concern. "What's wrong, Bob?" "I'm really dizzy, sick to my stomach, probably food poisoning from that airport meal," Hayes replied, sweat forming on his forehead. The situation deteriorated fast. Within minutes, Captain Hayes passed out completely, slumping in his seat. Mark Stevens now flew solo, which violated strict regulations requiring 2 pilots at all times. Heart-pounding, he called for the head flight attendant immediately. "Jennifer, emergency in the cockpit. Get here now." Jennifer rushed forward and found the captain unconscious. The co-pilot maintained control, but tension filled the small space. They needed help urgently. Regulations and safety demanded another qualified pilot. Jennifer's mind raced as they considered options. "Is there a doctor who can help the captain?" she asked first. "Yes, but we have a bigger issue," Mark responded. "I need another pilot here. We can't safely continue like this for the remaining time." Jennifer composed herself before making the difficult announcement. Her voice stayed steady over the intercom, though urgency lingered beneath the calm tone. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your head flight attendant. We have a medical situation involving one of our pilots. If there are any qualified commercial or military pilots on board, please ring your call button or come forward immediately to assist." Sarah's eyes snapped open at the word pilots. Her training kicked in instantly, pulling her from sleep to full alertness in seconds. The announcement sent ripples of worry through the cabin. Passengers exchanged nervous glances. The businessman set down his laptop. The young mother clutched her baby tighter. The elderly couple held hands more firmly. Whispers spread about what might be happening. Sarah sat up, removed her eye mask, and assessed the situation. She knew such calls were rare and serious. For a brief moment she hesitated, valuing her hard-earned rest. But duty and compassion won out. Lives depended on quick action. She pressed her call button and stood, walking purposefully toward the front. Passengers watched curiously as this unassuming woman from row 12 responded. Jennifer met her with visible relief. "Are you a pilot?" "Yes," Sarah answered steadily. "I'm Captain Sarah Martinez with United Airlines. Over 15 years of experience, fully qualified on this aircraft type." "What's happening?" Jennifer explained quickly. The captain was unconscious, likely food poisoning, and the co-pilot needed support. Sarah followed her to the cockpit without delay. Inside, she took in the scene professionally. Captain Hayes remained slumped and unresponsive. Mark Stevens looked relieved at her arrival. "Thank God. I'm Mark Stevens. The plane is stable, but we need you in the right seat." Sarah introduced herself clearly and settled in. She familiarized herself with the specific setup, checked instruments, fuel, and flight path. All systems showed normal. This was purely a crew medical issue. They promptly notified air traffic control, requesting priority handling. Miami Center responded swiftly, clearing them for direct routing and preparing medical teams on the ground. In the cabin, Jennifer kept passengers informed and calm. A doctor, Patricia Williams, stepped up to monitor Captain Hayes, confirming he was stable but out for the flight. Sarah and Mark coordinated seamlessly, running checklists, monitoring weather, and preparing for descent. Their communication was precise and professional, turning potential crisis into managed routine. Sarah addressed the passengers over the intercom, her voice reassuring. "This is Captain Martinez speaking. We're working together with First Officer Stevens for a safe landing in Miami on schedule. Emergency help awaits our captain. Thank you for your cooperation." The approach and landing executed flawlessly. Wheels touched down smoothly, earning applause from relieved passengers. After parking, medical personnel rushed aboard for Captain Hayes, who was now conscious but weak. As passengers deplaned, many thanked Sarah warmly. David, her seatmate, shook his head in amazement. "You were sleeping so peacefully, I never imagined." Sarah smiled modestly, explaining she simply wanted a quiet visit with her sister. Jennifer, Mark, and others expressed deep gratitude. The story spread quickly, making headlines. Sarah appeared in interviews, emphasizing readiness and teamwork. Her sister Maria waited proudly at the airport, calling it typical Sarah behavior. Captain Hayes recovered fully, and later thanked her personally for safeguarding everyone. The event sparked useful discussions in aviation circles about procedures and off-duty pilots. Flight attendant Jennifer learned never to judge passengers by appearances. Extraordinary skills can hide in plain sight. Years afterward, Sarah continued flying with the same dedication. The story of Flight 447 became a teaching tool in training programs, illustrating how expertise and courage can arise unexpectedly. It reminded everyone that true professionalism means stepping up regardless of circumstances, whether in the captain's seat or simply resting in row 12. This incident teaches us valuable lessons for everyday life. Preparation and lifelong learning build quiet confidence that can make a difference when challenges arise. Never underestimate those around you based on first impressions, as hidden talents often prove vital. Most importantly, when you possess skills that can help others in need, choosing action over comfort creates real impact. Stay ready, stay humble, and prioritize collective safety, qualities that turn ordinary moments into opportunities for extraordinary service.